Hello, my lovelies. Welcome to your full blood moon yoga class. My name is Natasha, also known as Nurse Natasha. As always, have any props that you need for your yoga practice. I try to make my classes as accessible as possible for people in all bodies, bigger bodies. So just have what you need for your practice to make it work for you. So I have some blocks here. I have a strap behind me if you need a pillow, bolster, blanket, anything that you need to make your practice work for you. Grab it, get settled on your mat, and we're going to talk about this full moon. So this is a big one. This full blood moon takes place on May 15th, and the reason why it's called a blood moon is because it is a total lunar eclipse. So the moon, depending on where you are, may appear to be red in hue, and generally these blood moons, these full moon lunar eclipses, you know, they've always, if you look back in history, they're kind of considered like historical, really big magical events, and this one is no different. This one does take place in Scorpio, so it's going to be a very intense full moon. We also just started Mercury retrograde as of today. The day I'm filming this is May 10th. Mercury retrograde has begun. Mercury retrogrades happen 3 to 4 times a year. They last around 3 to 4 weeks. So I do have a full blog post and a Mercury retrograde yoga class for that. If you're struggling with the retrograde, I'll put the link in the description box below. But yeah, it's a lot of very intense energy. On top of that, we also went into a Pluto retrograde not too long ago, and Scorpio is ruled by Pluto, so there's just like a lot happening. This is a very big full moon, and the energy that I'm getting is just to surrender. I feel like, you know, if you've been doing my classes for a while, we with every kind of moon phase and every astrological thing, we try to, you know, do some internal work, and we try to like maybe do some manifestation work or some releasing work or some spell work. And this one, the energy is so intense and so heavy. What I'm picking up on is just to surrender. Now that can look like doing releasing work. It's just a very kind of like letting what is supposed to happen, and kind of sitting back. We've done the work, right? If you've been here for a while, we've been doing the work, we've been doing the things, we've been working on ourselves, healing ourselves, and now it's kind of just time to sit back and surrender to what's happening, because this energy is very, very, very intense, and it is an energy of death and rebirth, because it is in Scorpio, ruled by Pluto, the planet of death and rebirth, ruled by death in the tarot, which is death and rebirth, and it's just time to surrender. It's time to surrender, let go of the control, because I know that a lot of us, myself included, like to kind of hold on to the reins and control stuff. But this energy is very just like, it's gonna be super intense, and you just kind of gotta let it go. Eclipses are portals that put us where we need to be, and this specific eclipse feels, this is an ending. This is in my brain when I was writing all my notes out, it kind of for me seems like almost like a save point when you're playing a video game. This is kind of like one of those points where you just need to take a break, hit save, look at kind of what's going on, and let things end for a little bit. And this eclipse is going to be matched by, we have also a full moon lunar eclipse, so another blood moon in November of this year. So that's going to be another kind of end point for this year. So these are just kind of major points in the year that are kind of like, it's just a major kind of save point. Like, you just finished the big boss battle, and now you just kind of got to surrender and let what's going to happen. So that's the vibes for this full moon. Let me look at my notes. Here we got Mercury retrograde, we got Pluto retrograde. In the body, Scorpio rules the reproductive organs and the hips. So we are going to be working really heavy on that sacral chakra today. And, you know, I think if this energy is also very fitting for what's happening in our country right now. You know, I'm never one to kind of hide my, political views, but, there's some pretty messed up stuff happening in our country right now surrounding women's bodily autonomy, or people with uteruses bodily autonomy, and it's interesting to me that Scorpio rules that part of our body, and now we're having a full blood moon lunar eclipse, so it's just interesting. But besides that, this is the time to surrender. This is the time to just kind of let what's going to happen. The key to the key to making it through retrograde, especially Mercury retrograde, is to not let it get the better of you. We can very easily during Mercury retrograde get frustrated, or things happen, technology gets screwy, our flights get canceled, we can get very upset and try to hold on to that control. This is the time to just kind of let go of control. Surrender to this energy, let it cleanse what it needs to cleanse, let die what needs to die, so we can move forward stronger and better and more powerful. So that's the energy of this full moon. Yeah, it's very intense. Again, with Scorpio, it's a water sign. You're going to feel some really heavy emotions. There might be a lot of crying. We're going to get into the sacral chakra, which is our chakra of emotions and holding on to trauma and holding on to these really intense things. Surrender it. Let it go. If you need to cry during this class, cry. If you need to cry after class, cry. If you need to scream, you know, the crying and sadness isn't the only emotion. It can be any emotion that you can be feeling, but just allow yourself to surrender to it. Allow it to come in, allow yourself to feel it so you can let it go. We can have a little save point and move on. So I'll stop ranting. I think that's all I wanted to say, but we're going to get started. So we're going to get started in child's pose. Now, my mat's a little close. I don't want to knock any of my stuff over. All right, we're going to get started in child's pose. Now, I recommend taking a wide-legged child's pose to honor and make space for the belly and thighs. So bringing those knees about as wide as the mat, sinking the hips back to the heels, and then you can walk your hands out and drop that chest down to the mat. Now here, we're going to be taking a surrendering child's pose. So I'm going to offer up the option that instead of having your palms facing down, turn the palms up, kind of being open to receive, open to surrender. This is just a very surrendering posture. You can also, if you maybe want some more grounding energy, you can keep the palms facing down, but just ask yourself, what do I need right now? Do I maybe want to really tap into that surrendering energy? Do I like to hold on to control? Maybe now's the time to surrender. Or maybe you're feeling very ungrounded because of this heavy energy and because of the Mercury retrograde, and you just want to get grounded. So ask yourself, what do I need in this moment? And find your way there. And once you're there, we're going to really sink into this child's pose. We're going to breathe together. So just start to bring your awareness to your breath. Just noticing as it goes in and out. As you inhale, maybe feeling the shoulders rise, the chest expand, the belly expand, taking up space. And as you exhale, surrendering deeper and sinking deeper into the mat. And even in this wide-legged child's pose here, we're already tapping into that sacral chakra. We're tapping into those hips. So with every inhale, fill up. And with every exhale, gently encourage those hips to maybe sink a little bit lower towards the heels. They do not have to touch, but just encouraging them down. Just really opening those hips up and allowing that surrender, allowing some of those pent-up traumas and emotions to start to move and start to kind of get unstuck and untrapped from where they are, so we can release them, so we can surrender them to the universe. Continue to breathe deeply here, lengthening and deepening those inhales and exhales. And our mantra for this class is going to be very simple. I surrender. I surrender. I let go, I release. You can kind of give yourself permission to allow that death and rebirth. I release what no longer serves me. I surrender it to the universe. We'll seal this with a few deep breaths. Big inhale in through the nose, filling up the chest, filling up the belly, taking up space. And open mouth exhale. Sink really deep into that mat. Big inhale in, filling up, filling up. Open mouth exhale, sink really deep. Last one, really, really big inhale, biggest one yet. And open mouth exhale. Encourage those hips down to the heels and really sink into this mat. Continue to breathe here. And take your inventory, take your check-in. Notice maybe the points where you're holding on, where you're just holding on to that control, where you do not want to release, you do not want to allow that thing to die or be let go of, you do not want to surrender. And it's okay, we're human. Notice those tensions, blockages, constraints. And just be aware of them. Practice non-judgment, non-attachment. These powerful full moons and this powerful blood moon eclipse energy, generally, if we're holding on to something like that, it will kind of force our hand. Whatever you're not surrendering, you're going to be faced with it. And just use your breath as a tool to start to loosen that grip, to start to let it go, start the process. Big inhale in, open mouth exhale, let it go. Big inhale in, filling up, taking up space. Open mouth exhale, let it go. Last one, biggest yet, really, really big inhale in. Fill up a little more. Open mouth exhale, surrender. We'll gently start to invite in some movement. If your palms are facing up, you can face them down on the mat. Inhale here, and on the exhale, walking your hands over to the right, feeling this expansion in the left side body, creating space. Breathing from left hip to left rib cage. Taking those big, deep inhales and exhales. On the next inhale, walking the hands through center. Exhale, taking them over to the left. Now breathing into the right side body. Big, deep inhales and exhales. Creating space, creating expansion. Inhale here, exhale, come back to center. Spend another breath here. And then when you're ready, gently on the inhale, rise to a tabletop, take your time. Coming to the hands and knees, you can place some extra support under your knees if that feels good. Stack the shoulder, elbow, wrist, stack hips over your knees. We're going to go into our cat-cow flow. I want you to try to make this fluid and just flow with what feels good. Again, just surrender to your body. Do what feels right. Inhale, lifting the chin, opening up the chest, arching the back, kind of sticking that booty out. Exhale, round, tucking the chin to the chest, dumbing out the shoulders. Inhale to open. And exhale to round. Now again, find some fluidity, tap into that Scorpio water energy here, and just be fluid with your movements, link your breath to your movements, and surrender to what feels good. And I think it's important to note here that the kind of flow of this class, we start with our surrendering, we start with our releasing, and I don't want you to surrender your power. I'm asking you to surrender anything holding you back. And we surrender and we release those things so we can grow more powerful, we can grow stronger when we release those things that are holding us back. I think we think of surrender as a sign of weakness, when in fact it is a sign of growth. Of letting go of that control, letting go of what no longer serves us, and just kind of giving it up to the universe so we can fill that space, that new empty space of whatever we let go of. Suddenly there is new space available for us to grow powerful and strong and fill it with new good things. So as you breathe and flow here, just try to rethink what surrender means to you. Couple more breaths here, just flowing, whatever feels right for you and your body. Gently, when you're ready, finishing up that last round, coming to a neutral spine. We're going to find our way to our downward dog, so tucking our toes. Inhale, lifting the hips up and back. Finding this downward facing dog, pressing palms into the mat, encouraging heels down. Pressing that chest towards the thighs. Breathing here and finding again some fluidity, some movement. Doing what feels good, what feels right. Gently, you can find stillness. Inhale, gaze to the top of the mat. Exhale, we're going to travel there. So maybe it's a few baby steps. Maybe it's a big old step to a forward fold. Keeping the feet wide again to honor and make space for the belly and thighs. And just again, really surrender here. Notice if maybe in your forward fold you tend to hang on to some tension somewhere. Maybe in the hamstrings, maybe in the low back. Let it go here. Truly allow yourself to just ragdoll. Maybe sway. I like to do kind of a little bounce, kind of encourages my low back to release. Maybe grab opposite elbows. Keeping maybe a bend in the knees to just truly just kind of surrender here. Gently find stillness. Bring the hands to the shins, press into them. Inhale for a halfway lift, flat spine. Exhale, fold. Inhale, gently, slowly rise to standing. Exhale, hands come to the heart center. We're in our Tadasana mountain pose. Taking a moment here. You can keep the eyes closed if you'd like, or you can open them. Whatever feels right and good. Just take a moment here. When you're ready, you can open your eyes if they were closed. We're standing in our Tadasana mountain pose at the top of our mat. And we're going to set up for some half sun salutes with chair pose to get those hips and that sacral chakra nice and warm. So you can keep your feet hips distance apart if that's what feels good for you in your chair. I like to take mine big toes together to touch with a sliver of space in between my heels. So finding what works best for you in your body. Starting in this Tadasana mountain pose. And then on the inhale, we reach the arms up. Exhale, we sink into our chair, so sinking your butt back. We don't want to arch the butt. We want to kind of tuck the pelvis, but sitting in our little chair. You can still see your big toes over your knees here. You can have arms extended overhead. We're at heart center. This is our Utkatasana chair pose, holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Don't release just yet. Bring your hands behind you. Palms are facing in towards each other and you're squeezing the shoulder blades. This is our airplane arms, holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now you can exhale, fold, and release. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise to standing. Exhale, hands to heart. We'll do this 2 more times. Inhale, reach. Exhale, sink into your chair. Holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Finding our airplane arms, holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, fold and release. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise. Exhale, hands to heart. Last one here. Inhale, reach. Exhale, sink to that Utkatasana chair pose, maybe a little lower. Hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Find those airplane arms. This is, for me, it's like we're about to take off after we surrender everything. We can just kind of zoom into what we're meant to be into. Move forward with our goals. And go ahead and exhale. Release and fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise to standing. Exhale, hands to heart. Take a moment here. How are we feeling? Can you feel the warmth building in your body and your hips? Are we loosening some stuff up that we can surrender, that we can let go of? If so, take a big inhale in through the nose, filling up, taking up space. And open mouth, exhale, let it go. You can open your eyes if they were closed. Now we're going to play around with some balance here because we are going to be working on a balancing posture. So this is where I will encourage you to, if you need any props for balance, perhaps a chair or a shelf, or you want to get up against the wall, we're going to work on some balancing on one leg. So from Tadasana, mountain pose, we'll start with the right leg. So we're going to put the weight into the left foot. And you can just come to the tippy toes of the right foot. Hands can be on hips or at your heart center. Maybe hang out here. If you're already feeling wobbly here, I want you to just hang out right here. If you want a little more, maybe lifting that foot up off the ground, either pointing or flexing the feet. Maybe stay here. If you want a little more, bringing that knee so it comes straight out from the hip, creating a 90-degree angle. Maybe stay right here. If you want a little more, you're going to cross that right ankle over the left thigh, coming to a figure 4 pose here with the legs, so like your number 4 with your legs. And you're going to start to sink into a chair pose here. So you're going to bend into that knee, the left knee, and sit your booty back into your Utkatasana chair pose with figure 4. Now you can keep the hands on the hips, hands at the heart center. You can hold on to a chair, a shelf, the wall. Breathing here. Know your edge. Chest is lifted, still nice and tall here. Now to come out of this, we're going to do so very slowly, and you're going to very gently release the leg. No slingshots, shake out the legs. All right, we're going to take it to the other side. So standing in Tadasana, now I'm putting my weight into my right leg, maybe come into the tippy toes of my left foot. Maybe hanging out here, maybe lifting those toes up off the mat, either pointing or flexing. Maybe lifting my knee so it comes straight out from my hip. Maybe crossing that ankle over my right thigh and taking a seat. Again, these are just options. Know your edge, listen to your body, and stop where it feels right. Use your props, use your balance aids. Perhaps focus your gaze, your drishti on something that's not moving. And breathe. We're ready to come out of it, gently releasing. No slingshots, release the leg, shake it out. All right, how does it feel? It's okay if you fell. It's part of the practice. That's part of surrendering, I think, is falling. So it's okay, and have fun with it. All right, we are going to move on to some warrior postures, because after we've surrendered, we've let go of the things that no longer serve us, we're going to tap into our inner warrior. It's going to make us powerful. Releasing what no longer serves you makes you more powerful. So we're going to work on some warriors here from standing in Tadasana. You can have hands on the hips, bringing that right foot to center, stepping the left foot back into a warrior 1. So not stepping as wide here. Front knee bends over the ankle and squaring your torso to the front of the mat. Back foot is at about 45-degree angle flat. Back leg is straight. I'm finding my power, my base here. And inhaling my arms up for my Virabhadrasana Warrior 1. Feeling this power here. Breathing here. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, open up to a Warrior 2. So I'm opening the arms, I'm opening the hips, then I'm opening my stance a little bit. So you might need to scoot that back foot back a little. The back foot now comes parallel to the short edge of the mat. Front foot stays where it is. Knee stays over the ankle. Arms are open. Gazing over the front fingertips, Warrior 2. Take a second to make sure those shoulders aren't shrugged up to the ears. Hips are open. Breathing here. Now on the next inhale, shifting the torso, the upper body forward. Exhale, finding an extended side angle. So I like to bring my right forearm to my right thigh, reaching that left arm over, so it's more of a side bend here. You can also bring arms to 12 and 6 o'clock. Place your hand on a block if you'd like. Keeping the chest open wherever you are. Breathing here. Inhale, use the core to rise. Exhale, flipping the front palm and reversing your warrior. So reaching down that back leg now. Inhale to rise. Exhale, step back to the top of the mat. Shake it out. We will take it to the other side. So standing at top of the mat, hands on hips, left foot center, right foot steps back into our warrior one. Front knee bends, back leg is straight, squaring off my torso, inhaling arms up. Breathing here, feeling powerful, feeling strong. Inhale, reach. Exhale, opening up hips, opening up arms, widening the stance, finding my warrior two. Releasing my shoulders. We don't need them shrugged up to our ears. Release, surrender. Inhale, shifting the torso forward. Exhale, find that extended side angle. So maybe left forearm coming to the left thigh, reaching laterally over, keeping the chest open. Breathing here. Inhale, use the core to rise. Exhale, flip the front palm, reverse your warrior. Inhale, rise. Exhale, step back to the top of the mat. Shake it on out. All right, my friends, we're going to do that again on either side, except we're going to add some flow to it. We're going to really tap into this fluid water sign energy, this release of control. And we're going to do what I like to call a dancing warrior. It's a very flowy warrior. So hands on the hips, right foot comes to center, left foot steps back into our warrior one. Setting myself up, finding my strength, squaring off my torso. Inhale, arms up. Inhale here, exhale, opening up to my warrior two. Again, maybe widening my stance. And this is where my dancing warrior is going to come in. So we're basically going to flow from our extended side angle to our reversed warrior, but linking breath to movement. So inhaling for your extended side angle, exhaling, reversing the warrior. And you're going to kind of make this almost into a dance. Flowing with the arms, flowing with the breath. You can add some flair with the hands if you'd like, but just flow, linking breath to movement. Surrendering, releasing control, and just kind of allowing your body to move in the way that it wants to. As you flow forward and back. Couple more rounds here. Finishing up this last round. And stepping back to the top of our mats. Shake it out. All right, we'll do the other side. So from standing, right foot comes center, left foot steps back, warrior one. Setting myself up here, finding my power. Inhaling, arms up. Inhale here, exhale to open, warrior two. And then when you're ready, we'll start to flow. So inhaling for that extended side angle. Exhaling to reverse the warrior. And go ahead and flow, linking breath to movement. Doing what feels right and good. Surrendering to this flowy water, Scorpio energy. Few more rounds here. Finishing up this last round and stepping back to the top of your mat. Shake it on out. We'll find our Tadasana mountain pose for a moment, standing tall, standing powerful. Feet can be hips distance or wider, palms at your sides, facing forward. You can close your eyes if it feels good. Take a big inhale in through the nose, filling up the chest, filling up the belly, taking up space. Open mouth, exhale, release. All right, my friends. Now we're going to work on a posture called eagle pose. Now, the reason why I chose to do this pose is because I really do not like this pose. As someone who is very short, I have very short limbs, I can never get that full eagle cross. As someone with a very large chest, I can never do the eagle arms. And I think a part of my surrendering is kind of doing the poses that I do not like to do. I don't know if you've noticed my past few moon practices, we've been working on some new postures that were poses I've avoided for a really long time because I just didn't like them. And I think part of my surrender is doing the poses that I don't like. So we're going to work on eagle pose together. I'm going to offer a ton of variations and we're going to figure it out. So standing, you can again stand with a balance aid. So maybe a chair, a wall, a shelf, something you can hold on to safely. You can also have blocks here because you can set your foot on a block. I'll demo that here. So just like we did with our balancing exercises at the top of the mat, we'll start with the right leg. So the right leg is going to twist and the right arm is going to go under. So I'm putting my weight into my left leg. Hands are on hips. Coming to those right toes. You can stay right here. Now, option to lift the leg up. You can hang out here. Option to lift the leg up even more. You can hang out here. Option to cross that leg over, and in eagle pose, kicking my block, you can take a double twist in the leg. So the idea is that your top of the thigh would twist over your thigh, and then your bottom half, your shin, would twist back behind the other shin. Now, I cannot do that. I have very short limbs, and I have very large thighs, so I cannot take that full eagle twist. So this is my eagle twist in my legs. You can also rest this foot on a block. So find your eagle legs, play around with it, see what feels good, see what feels right. Kind of maybe trying to tuck this right foot behind the left shin. Again, it doesn't have to go all the way around. Find these eagle legs. Now, bending into this knee a little bit. We don't want to hyperextend the knee. We're bending down. This is where the arms come in. Now, eagle arms is a double twist again in the arms, where the right arm will go under, left arm will go over, and you kind of double twist into the forearms. Now, I cannot do that. I have boobs and very limited range of motion here in my chest because of multiple surgeries I've had. So, what I'm going to do is a bear hug. So my right arm is going to go under, my left arm is going to go over, and I'm going to hug myself here. Now I'm going to sink into my chair. Try to keep the elbows lifted. You don't want to hunch over. Your eagle should be very tall, but that's my eagle pose. Your eagle pose might look different than my eagle pose. My eagle pose is going to look different than your eagle pose. Perhaps you can take that double twisty bind in the arms. Perhaps you can take the double twisty bind in the legs. I cannot. So I'm going to go where it works for me. Perhaps you are here and you are here. This is okay. I want you to surrender and meet yourself where you are. It's okay. It is okay if your yoga doesn't look like, the perfect Instagram postures that we see online. My yoga is never going to look like that, and that's okay. So surrendering and accepting yourself where you are here, feeling the balance, maybe grabbing onto your chair or the wall, and play around with it. Have fun. Shake out the legs when it feels a little funky. Play around with this side, see what feels good, and then we'll take it to the other side when we've had enough of this side. Literally, eagle arms, bane of my existence. I'm like, how, with someone with boobs, it's just, I can barely do this, So, play around with it again. I also have very short limbs. I've seen some yogis, and, good for them. They can twist their legs like 3 times and twist their arms like 3 times. I cannot do that, and I'm okay with it. So, when you're done playing around with that side, we'll take it to the other side. So you can, again, use your block for your foot if you'd like. Now I'm putting my weight into my right foot, perhaps coming to tippy toes on my left. Maybe lifting the leg up. Maybe lifting it up even more. Maybe twisting over my right leg. Maybe hooking this foot to the back of my shin, or again, resting my foot on a block. Now comes the arms. Left arm going under, right arm going over. I'm giving myself a hug here. I'm keeping the elbows lifted, and then I start to sink in and bend in the knees. You can try, I'm even worse on this side, the double twist with straight forearms. Play around with it, have fun. Surrender. Surrender to your body, to what it needs, to what feels good. Surrendering to the notion that perfection doesn't exist, because it doesn't. And have fun. I think having fun amidst the chaos is part of surrender. Like, if you can have a good time during Mercury retrograde and during all this full moon, lunar eclipse craziness, you're doing good. If you can just kind of smile and laugh as the crazy stuff happens, you're doing great. That is surrender in a nutshell. So playing around here for a few more breaths until you're ready to gently let go. Shake out those legs, and we'll come back to the top of our mat and ask yourself how that feels. Maybe that was a new posture for you. Maybe it's an old posture for you and it feels different. Maybe you're like, yeah, I feel really good. Whatever it is, just allow yourself to feel. It's okay to feel. That's what our sacral chakra is all about. Inhale, raise those arms, and exhale, just fold over those legs. Surrender here for me. Just wrap it all over. Sway from side to side. Maybe a little bounce. All right, now from here we're going to find a downward dog, and we're going to go into our pigeon pose. Now, option to take your pigeon pose from a tabletop, but I'm going to cue this from downward dog and a three-legged dog. So I'm planting my hands and stepping back to downward dog. I'm going to press my palms into the mat. I'm going to inhale this right leg up and back for three-legged dog. And exhale, I'm going to bring my knee into my chest, or you can bring it out and around to make space for the belly. And you're going to bring that shin center and drop it. Now again, you can get into your pigeon from table or perhaps from a low lunge, wherever works for you. Finding your pigeon on the right side. You can also take a block and place it under that right hip for some extra support. Now when you find this pigeon, I want you to take a moment to press your palms into the mat and just open up the chest, open up the heart before you surrender and fold. Coming down to fold over this front leg. And we're going to breathe here for a bit. Now you can lay on a block, you can lay on a bolster, a blanket. Breathing into this right hip and surrendering. I think pigeon pose is the ultimate kind of surrender pose. It's a true release in the hips, really tapping into that sacral chakra. You've probably seen my TikTok about it, how every time I'm in pigeon pose I cry. This is a great crying pose. Just let it all go here. And gently, when you're ready, coming back to your palms, tucking those back toes. Now option to just press into your tabletop here, or option to press palms and those toes into the mat and press back to your three-legged dog and release into your downward dog, and we'll take it to the other side. Inhaling that left leg up and back. Exhale, bringing the knee in or perhaps swinging it out and bringing that shin around, dropping the shin. Knocking stuff over. I didn't even touch that, it just fell. So ghosts be ghosting. All right. We're on our palms here for a moment, taking a little heart opener before we surrender and find our sleeping pigeon. The song that always comes into my head because of that TikTok I made is Praying by Kesha, which I think is a great song for this vibe. So if you want to cry, listen to that song. Breathing here in your pigeon. You know what's so nice is usually my dogs would have barked at that, but they're at the groomers right now. So this is the first yoga class you'll probably hear with no dogs barking. Gently, when you're ready, coming back to your palms, tucking those back toes. Again, you can press back to a table, or you can press back to that three-legged dog with me and release into your downward dog. And then gently come to your knees, to come to that table. And we're all just going to take a seat on your mat. Now, we're going to do a double pigeon. You thought it was over with the pigeon, it is not. So, double pigeon or fire log pose. We're essentially stacking our legs on top of each other, like how they are in pigeon, stacking them on top of each other. So I'm coming to a seat. You can use a block or a bolster or a pillow here. Grabbing some water. So I'm coming to a seat. We'll start with the right leg, so the left leg is going to be on the bottom, bending your knee, finding that kind of pigeon shin position with the leg. And you're going to stack the right leg on top of it the same way. Now, you might be like, Natasha, my knee's all the way up here. That's okay. You're going to take a block, you're going to place it on that knee. Or you're going to take a bolster or a pillow, place it on that knee, hang out right here. Perhaps you're here and you already feel it and you're like, okay, this is good enough. I'm feeling it in that right hip. I'm going to stay here. If you'd like a little more, you can inhale, lengthen, and exhale, fold over the legs. You do not have to go very far to feel it in this posture if you have tight hips. So take your time here. And again, just kind of allow yourself to surrender. If you feel that tension in that right hip, just be gentle, be easy on yourself. Self-compassion. It's very important to practice self-compassion when we have all this craziness happening in astrology and in the world. Go easy on yourself. Gently, when you're ready, inhale to rise. Lengthen those legs, shake it out for a moment. We'll take it to the other side. So now right leg's coming on the bottom, left leg stacking on top. Ask yourself, do I need a block? Do I need some support under there? Finding where it feels good for you, maybe inhaling to lengthen and exhaling to fold. Tapping into your breath and just releasing here. Inhale to rise and exhale to release. Shake out the legs and we'll just take a straight-legged forward fold here. So both legs are out. You can keep the feet wide to make space for the belly and thighs. Inhale, lengthen, and exhale. Just fold on over those legs. Now, I don't care if you can touch your toes. You could use a strap here if you'd like. Just again, another release, another surrender here. If you'd like it a little more in the low back, maybe bending into the knees, really folding deeply. If you want to release the legs a bit more, really keeping those legs straight and reaching for the toes. And gently inhale to rise. Exhale, release, and we'll find our way to our backs. I'm going to keep my blocks kind of where I can grab them just in case. I'm going to come back to my back, releasing gently. Now, guess what? We got more pigeon. We're taking a reclined pigeon here. So arms can be at the sides, starting with your knees bent, feet bottoms on the mat. Taking this right ankle, crossing it over left thigh. Option to hang out right here. Gently pressing into that right thigh to open up the hip. Hang out here. Option to draw the legs into the chest, perhaps reaching in between that space and grabbing the left thigh. Option to straighten that left leg. Find your edge. Find what feels best for you. I like to stay down here. So this is where I'm going to hang out. Flexing that right foot will help you feel it a little bit more. And just breathe. Probably one of the greatest methods of release or surrender is pranayama, your breath. So when Mercury retrograde or the full blood moon or anything is getting the best of you, just take 5 breaths. Just in, then out. When you feel like you're going to explode, take those breaths. Now, if you have your knees pulled into your chest, you can release, but keeping the legs crossed, bringing the arms out to a T position, maybe even crossing the legs a little more. We're going to take a twist. So dropping those crossed legs over to the left. If that's uncomfortable, you can uncross the legs. Taking a double twist here, twist in the legs, twist in the upper body. Maybe gazing over that right shoulder. Maybe checking in again during these final postures. How do I feel? What came up? Just taking that inventory, body scan, mind, body, soul. Just being self-aware. I think that's also very important during these retrogrades and eclipses, is just being aware of what's happening. Doesn't mean you have to control it, but you can be aware. Gently releasing back to center, uncrossing the legs. We'll take it to the other side, so knees are bent. Crossing the left ankle over right thigh now. Option to stay here. Option to draw the knees in. Perhaps straightening that back leg or just hanging out right here with me. If the legs are pulled in, perhaps releasing them, keeping them crossed, maybe crossing them a little more. Arms come out to a T position and dropping those legs over to the right. Maybe gazing over the left. And just release. Surrendering those limitations, surrendering those tensions, blockages, constraints, giving them up to a higher power to take care of them, because we've done all we can do. And once we can surrender and let go and let those things die, we can invite in power and strength and magic. All the things, all the good things that we want. We just have to let go first. Gently inhaling back to center and exhale, releasing. Now for our Savasana, our final pose, you can take any variation of Savasana that you care for. I'm going to cue Supta Baddha Konasana to get deeper into those hips. So this is where those blocks can come in. If there's any final pose you need for your practice, please go there. Now, for Supta Baddha Konasana, feet bottoms come together to touch. We open up at the knees, and you can place those blocks underneath the knees or the thighs for just some support if you feel it pulling on those hips or on the knees. That's just an option. You can also take your full corpse pose, just extending the arms and legs. You can take fish pose. You can take any kind of pose you would like. Make this practice your own. Do what feels best for you and your body. And once you find that place, once you're comfy, and you're in your Savasana, just breathe here. Just release and surrender here, and I'll let you know when it's time to come back. And gently, when you're ready, start to bring your awareness back into your space and back into your body. Maybe wiggling the toes or wiggling the fingers. Maybe rolling out the wrists or rolling out the ankles. Gently making these movements bigger, perhaps closing the knees. Maybe drawing the knees into the chest, giving yourself a squeeze. When you're ready, just dropping over to one side, using the bottom arm as a pillow for a fetal pose. And then gently pressing yourself up to a seat, any seat that you find comfortable, taking your time. Bringing those hands to either side of you, feeling the mat beneath your fingertips. Inhale those arms up, taking all this wonderful energy we just created. Exhale, bring them back down. One final surrender. Inhale, arms come up. Exhale, palms come together to touch, bringing the hands to your heart. The light in me honors the light in each of you. We bow to our practice. Thank you. That is all I have for you today, my lovelies. I hope you feel good. I will see you perhaps for the tarot reading. I do tarot readings for every full moon and new moon as well. I also just dropped an entire zodiac series, so a class for every zodiac sign. They just dropped, so they're all there on a playlist on my YouTube channel. My members actually got those classes like 2 months ago. So if you're interested in joining my YouTube membership, you can just hit the join button. You get exclusive classes early. You get exclusive classes just for members. You get live classes, live tarot readings, access to the 30-day yoga challenge. So literally just from signing up, it's $9.99 a month. You will get immediate access to like 40 classes that are there already, 40 brand new classes. I host challenges every other month. We have a Discord, a private community. It's just really amazing. So if you'd like to join me there, you can. There's zodiac classes for you. There's a Mercury retrograde class. I think that's all I got. I also wanted to celebrate and say thank you. I opened up registration for my first retreat to the public. I hosted one for my private clients. I opened up my first retreat to the public and it sold out in like 3 days. So if you'd like to come to a witchcraft and wellness retreat, keep your eyes out. Subscribe to my email list or join the membership or my free Facebook group. I also have a free Facebook group and you'll be first to know when the next one is. Yeah, I think that's all I have. But thank you so much. I just am so grateful for each and every one of you. I hope you have a wonderful full blood moon. And I hope it goes okay. I hope your Mercury retrograde is good. And I will see you lovelies next time.